Hey, how's it going? I'm Nick Gaska and welcome back to I Could Do That DIY for another doll repaint video. Step 1. Doll prep. So for today's project we're using a SLOMO body. This is going to be my first boy doll ever, and we're using a SPECTRA head. She's a pretty big head mold and it fits well with the boy body. So yeah, let's get into it. We're going to be making a clown today. I really love clowns, they're really spooky and perfect for the Halloween season. He's going to be a mixture of a clown, a jester, and a jack-in-the-box. He's going to be really cute too, and kind of worried and sad. I really love a worried, sad clown. But anyways, let's go ahead and make this head fit this neck peg. I'm going to take my Dremel and widen up the neck hole. Make sure you have a good grip on your head because it kind of got away from me a couple times. After I widen up the hole with my Dremel, I'm going to sand the edges with my Dremel and also a hand sanding block. After I get the edges all smooth, I'm going to pop the head back on the neck peg. Alright, awesome, that looks really great. Step 2. Clothing. So for the look today, it's going to be a little different from this original concept sketch, but it's pretty close. We're going to have a little bit more of a jester influence in the final end product, but it's still really cute. We're going to make a patchwork clown jumpsuit with many different parts. So here are all the pattern pieces, and I've gone ahead and pre-cut the fabric. So yeah, awesome, let's get into it. Like I said, there's a bunch of different pieces, here they all are. We have a lot of patches that I've gone ahead and put fray check on the edges of all of them, and the neckline ruffle. So let me just organize this a little bit and try to make some sense of it so you can kind of see what it's going to be. But yeah, it's going to be patchwork and red and black and white everywhere. It's really cute. So this is kind of what it's going to look like. Now I'm just going to go ahead and sew the jumpsuit base off screen, and I'll come back and show you sewing on the patches. So here's the jumpsuit base. It looks adorable. I'm obsessed. There's a center back Velcro closure, and yeah, it's adorable. Now let's top apply these patches. I'm just going to use some embroidery floss and split it in half, and then just stitch on the patches. The neck ruffle will be a separate piece that I gather up at the neck and then tie together at the back. I'm also going to put some pom-poms down center front. So I'm going to go ahead and start by putting this patch on the right thigh and maybe do another patch on top of it. But yeah, let's just grab our embroidery floss, split it in half, and start stitching it on. I'm going to start from the inside so that the knot is on the inside, and then kind of just do a whip stitch around the edge. I'll continue this off screen and do a lot off screen and come back to you after it's adorable and super cute. Nice, that looks so cute. Now let's just add some more, kind of all over. So here it is with all the patches sewn on. It's so cute, I'm obsessed. Now I'm going to go ahead and attach these pom-poms off screen, and I also made a hat and made the neck ruffle. So let's just go do that. So here is the hat and the neck ruffle and the pom-poms all on the outfit. It looks amazing. But these shoes won't work. Let's go ahead and make some jester-esque shoes with some points and some flourishes. They're going to be also patchwork just like the body. For this I'm going to use my WORBLA thermoplastic. Let's just cut out the shape and then use my heat gun to shape it to fit. You also can see me cutting the back of the shoe open a bit so it's easier to get on and off the foot. Like I said, I'm just going to trace the pattern, making sure to alternate the sides so that the texture of the WORBLA is on either side of the shoe, and then just cut it out. I really like the texture of the WORBLA. It kind of looks like leather. It's really awesome. Alright, once those pieces are all cut out, I'm just going to grab my heat gun and heat this up a little bit until it's moldable and pliable. Once it's moldable, I'm going to kind of test it and see how it looks together, but then I'm going to get serious and heat it up again, and stick to the shoe. Once it's stuck to the shoe, I'm going to mold it and shape it to the right shape, and kind of do the same thing for the other side and stick them together. So after the two sides are stuck to the shoe, I'm going to realize that the front needs a little triangle to cover up that gap. So let's go ahead and trace out a triangle, then cut it out, then repeat the process by heating it up and sticking it on. Once it's stuck on, I'm going to apply a little bit more heat to kind of mold it together and round over the edges. Then I'm going to use my Dremel to sand it a little bit to get that shape right and kind of blend it into the edge. This point looks really nice, but I think these shoes need a little bit more. Let's add some triangle flourishes off the sides and the center front. We'll also use the heat gun to bend them a little bit and also stick them on. Oh my god, that looks so good, I'm obsessed, yes! Alright, these look amazing. Now I'm just going to go ahead and repeat the process for the other shoe, then it's time to paint the shoes. Alright, I'm just going to use my red, black, and white acrylic paint to paint these shoes. They're going to be patchwork red, black, and white, and red polka dots, with some pom-poms on the tip. I end up having to do a couple coats to build up opacity of the solid colors. Then I go ahead and go in and add the white polka dots, and get the shoes the final sealant of Mr. Super Clear. After that's all sealed and dried, then I'm going to go ahead and attach these pom-poms with some hot glue just to the tip. Once both pom-poms are attached, the shoes are complete. And that also completes the whole outfit. Awesome! Next, let's go ahead and move on to the next step. Step 3. Face-up prep. So I'm going to go ahead and do 2 layers of Mr. Super Clear as a base for the face-up. I'm not going to bother wrapping the body because I want to ombre the neck into the body. Step 4. Face-up. So I'm going to go ahead and start this face-up by doing a little color correction on the cheek because there's a little black spot. So I'm going to grab my white watercolor pencil and kind of just go over that to cover that up. Then I'm going to start with the outline of the eye with my black watercolor pencil. We're going to do a little downturned eye. I really want the clown to look worried and sad. I love a sad clown, they're super cute. After I outline both eyes, I'm going to go ahead and outline the irises. I'm going to do them a little bit smaller and glancing upward, so that there's going to be a little space underneath of them. Flipping the head around helps me keep everything symmetrical. After I do the irises, I'm going to go ahead and give them an upper eyelid as well, just on the outside. Then, using my red watercolor pencil, I'm going to start working on the clown nose. I'm just going to outline a circle on the tip of the nose, then fill it in red. After that, I'm going to outline the lip. I'm just going to outline the bottom lip and fill it in red. Then I'm going to give a little smile on the edge. That shape creates an illusion of a smile, and I'm going to keep the top lip pretty bare. Later I'm going to add a little pastel in it, but it's pretty unnoticeable. After that, I'm going to start working on these irises. I'm going to go for a brown iris, so I'm going to start off with a honey brown base. Later we're going to shade in some darker browns. Then, using my black watercolor pencil, I'm going to do a triangle at the top and the bottom of the eyes, creating a diamond. After that's all done, I'm going to give the face a general powder with my white pan pastel. I'm also going to ombre the neck white as well. I don't need to bother with the body because most of it's going to be covered up. I am going to paint the hands later on. And that's pretty good for the first coat. Now let's move on to the second coat. On the next layer, we're going to start by working on the cheeks. We're going to do pink circles on either side of the cheek, using my pink watercolor pencil. After that, let's start building up the opacity of our other colors. We're going to use the red watercolor pencil on the nose and the lips. Then we're going to start creating depth in this iris by adding some dark brown watercolor pencil to the top of the iris, then blending it with the same brown that we used to fill in the base. Then I'm going to use my pink pastels on the cheeks and the nose bridge. The nose bridge detail just makes him look like he's blushing or like he's stuffy. It's super cute. After that, I'm going to grab my black pastel and shade the outside of the eyelids. Just a little bit. I don't want to go too heavy. This is a boy doll, but he is a clown, so he is wearing makeup, but yeah, we don't want it too heavy, but he is wearing makeup, a full face of makeup. So yeah, he's getting some shading on the edge of the eyelids with my black pastel. Just a little bit though, I'm making sure to wipe off the excess on my scrap paper. And just blending it out a little bit with another brush. Then I'm going to give the face a general powder with my white pastel. On the next layer, we're going to continue building up the opacity, starting with the cheeks. Then moving on to the nose and the lips and kind of just everywhere else. We're going to build up opacity and definition and depth in all the colors. And while I do that, I just have to say that this hobby is more meant for adults or someone with adult supervision. This hobby requires a lot of hazardous or dangerous materials and it can be really messy and could be bad for your health. You need a lot of protective gear while you do it, and make sure you're really careful at all steps. So yeah, these dolls are for display, not for play. On the next layer, I'm going to use my pink watercolor pencil to connect the inside of the bottom of the eye. Then I'm going to use my black watercolor pencil to outline the top of the iris just on the outsides, and add in my pupil. Cool, that looks great. Let's add a little bit more detail to the iris with my white watercolor pencil. Alright, next let's work on these brows. They're going to be upturned on the inside so they look nice and worried. I'm going to use my black watercolor pencil and just sketch in a general shape. Then I'm going to use my black pastels just on the inside of the eyebrow to blend it a little bit, and then refine the shape with my eraser. I'm also going to shade the top of the eyes with the same black pastel. We're going to continue to build up that color on that cheek and also create a little ombre on the lip to create more definition. We're going to do a little bit of pink on the inside of the lip and then switch to my watercolor pencils and ombre it in with pink and red watercolor pencils. And blend the watercolor pencils together with a Q-tip. Using my black watercolor pencil, I'm going to add in some lashes. Make sure it's really sharp when you do this. We're going to make his lashes pretty small and subtle today. Once I do both sides, we're going to add some texture to the eyebrows with the same black watercolor pencil and also a white watercolor pencil. Alright, next let's add some catch lights to the eye with my white acrylic paint. We're going to do some really big ones so he looks really worried, kind of like he has big puppy dog eyes. And with that, the face-up is complete. Next, let's paint the hands with some acrylic paint. We're going to use some black and some red acrylic paint. I end up having to do 2 coats with this, and I seal it with some Mr. Super Clear after I'm all done. Step 5. Finishing touches. So he's not getting any lashes today, he's just getting gloss. So we're going to take my gloss and my tiny little brush and do the eyes, the tip of the nose, and the bottom lip. This gloss always goes on a little hazy, but it dries really shiny and clear. After that's all done, I'm just going to set it aside to dry, then it's time to dress him. Here he is, he looks so cute, I'm obsessed. Let's get a good look at this face. Here he is. Yeah, he looks great. Alright, let's get to dressing him. And while I get him dressed, I just have to say thank you guys so much for subscribing if you're already a subscriber, and if you're not, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all of our latest projects. We'll be doing plenty of doll stuff in the future as well as other stuff, so keep up to date. And also follow us on social media at ICouldDoThat.diy and at Quiet Dollies. The Quiet Dollies Instagram is a lot more doll focused and it has a lot of my older work before it was even on YouTube. Also, make sure to let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I really appreciate your guys' comments and love the feedback. It really helps the channel grow and the video get out to more people. Alright, he's looking pretty great, but I think I need somewhere to sit him or stand him. Step 6. Doll stand. So for the doll stand, we're going to make a little jack-in-the-box. I'm going to start with a chunk of wood that I cut down and some designs that I already drew on it. I made some templates out of paper, and we're going to make them out of some clay using some Super SCULPY. I'm also going to use some oven-baked clay adhesive to adhere the SCULPY to the wood. I didn't have anything to roll it out, but I am using a cup, so yeah, be creative. We're going to start by cutting some 1/4-inch pieces for the border. We're just going to use the oven-baked clay adhesive to adhere it to the box. Then we're going to work on the other designs by cutting out the shapes with some more clay. And then repeat the same process to cover the whole box. So it's looking pretty good so far, but for the heart side it's going to be a little bit different. There's a hole in the center of the heart for the handle of the jack-in-the-box. This handle isn't going to be functional, but I am going to drill a hole, well not really drill a hole, stab a hole right now and drill it later, with an awl for the handle. After that, we're going to cover the top and the bottom as well. So here it is, it looks pretty great for my first time sculpting something like this. There's a few cracks, but I really don't care. Next, I'm going to do a base coat with my red Rust-Oleum paint. I'm just going to spray it off screen. After that, I'm going to paint the rest of the details with my white and black acrylic paint. After that's all painted, I'm going to seal it with a couple layers of Mr. Super Clear. Then I'm going to start working on the handle. For the handle, we're just going to use a thick wire that I'm going to cut and bend to shape, and a piece of dowel that I cut and painted off screen. I'm just going to keep fitting it and cutting it until it's the right size and shape. After that, I'm going to use my drill to make this hole a little bit deeper. Alright, cool, that looks pretty good. Now let's drill a hole in the dowel. Alright, let's just see how this looks. Still a little bit long. Let's just give this a little bit of trim, and I think it should be good. Yeah, that looks great. Now let's just glue this into place. I'm going to use my Gorilla Glue Super Glue and just add it into the dowel, stick my wire in it, and set that aside to dry. Then I'm going to add some glue into the box and repeat the process. The handle won't be able to move, but that doesn't really matter because it's just a stand and the box doesn't really open anyway, so yeah, it's going to be stationary, but that's okay, I don't really care. Once I get this all propped up and I set it aside to dry, there's only one thing left to do. Step 7. Doll photo shoot. So here he is, here's the finished result. I'm really happy with how he turned out. He looks super cute, I love it. His name is going to be Patches the Clown for obvious reasons. The outfit is super adorable, I'm so happy with how it turned out. I love the hat especially, and the shoes. I've never made shoes before and I think they turned out really awesome. I thought a clown doll would be perfect for Halloween. Even though it's not super spooky, it's spooky to a lot of different people, and it's also just a good costume. Feel free to use it as an inspiration for a costume if you like. I really love how the stand turned out as well. I think it really looks amazing. It really helps with the whole jester, clown, jack-in-the-box vibe that I was going for. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope it helped. Have a happy and safe Halloween. Hopefully I can squeeze in another video before the end of the month. For the rest of the video, just enjoy the photos and feel the fantasy. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!